In that sense, what were you closing the door on, or what chapter were you ending?
Well,
for yourself?
we weren't closing the door on anything. The door was closing on us. I mean, we didn't have any choice. It wasn't anything that we did. Okay. It was just the natural sort of slowing down of a kind of a chapter of 10 years of sort of, you know,
making records.
10 years of very fast movement, lots of travel, lots of record making, lots of meeting people, experiences. There was just a sort of natural sort of coming to an end of that thing, cycle. And for a while we didn't know actually if another door was going to open. We didn't know. So it was also quite a scary time for us, because one album was done and in the past, and we were kind of standing on this sort of precipice and not knowing really what to do and how to go about it, and sort of little by little.
Do I jump off? Do I parachute off, or do I try and climb back
jump?
Up?
Yeah, but it was kind of baby steps again. You know, we were relearning, and having the studio and building that up from scratch was part of that. Yeah. And getting our new bass player Jack, who sort of invigorated us really with a sense of gang mentality.
I think Jack's arrival in the band was a really important factor in the creation of this record, because when you start off as a band, you know, you're a gang, and you spend all your time together, and you know, you live together, and you wear the same clothes, and you have the same hunger, you know, and I think what happens is when you go on the road, you know, you go off on tour, and actually it becomes a job. And not necessarily in a bad way, but it becomes that, like, this is what you do now. This isn't. It's not just for fun anymore. It's what you do. It's your profession, if you like. I hate that word, but it's true. And I think, like Will said, after touring the last record, I think we kind of realised that we needed to become a gang again. We needed to sort of remind ourselves where we came from and what we wanted, what the mission statement was, and I think the reason we are still making records after all this time is that we grew up together. We're old friends, and when our previous bass player Kai left, I think there was a member of the gang missing, and we had to rediscover that gang feeling. We needed to find the missing mystery Jack, and we found Jack, and now we're a gang again.
Was it a surprise that Kai left then?
No, I mean, I think it's a very natural thing when people get towards their sort of, you know, mid to late 20s, that they start asking the question of, you know, is this what I want to do? And I think we've noticed it in a lot of people around us that we've grown up with, you know, kind of people. You know, life sort of gets real.
Yeah, and in ourselves as well. I mean, not necessarily is this what we want to do, because this is what we want to do, but I think just the asking of questions, you know, you begin asking questions, you know, you start to question yourself and what you're doing and where you want to be and where you are now and how you're going to get to where you want to be, and will it be everything you imagined it to be, or will it be disappointing? You know, you realise that you don't have all the time in the world. You've got, you know, another 50 years or whatever it is. You know you're going to die, so you take things a bit more seriously, I suppose. And I think
several songs in the record deal with asking those questions. You know, I think the End Up deals with that probably, you know, in 1985 as well, which is sort of, I think both those songs ask the questions about, you know, all my friends are, you know, starting to have babies and like accept responsibility, and here we are in a band sort of in this sort of perpetual state of arrested development, you know, because it's like you know there's a sort of almost a Peter Pan thing about being in a band. You know, you kind of are the Lost Boys, and you don't really have to grow up if you don't want to.
Sure.
Yeah, which is quite tricky actually, because part of you wants to grow up, but another part of you loves that you don't have to, kind of thing, but you sort of do have to as well. It's a weird, almost like it's a kind of illusion that you have to sort of believe even though you know it's not kind of real. It's quite an odd one. It's interesting as you being in a band and getting older is a really interesting thing to happen, because bands really it's a young thing. It's a young man's game. It's a young girl's game. But I think as you grow older, it's sort of the whole thing takes on a totally different symbolic meaning, really, and it's. I mean, I'm still trying to work it out.
That's the question, because yeah, you have all these important questions you start to ask yourself.
Yeah.
Have you found, as a band, have you found an answer or resolved certain things for yourself?
Not really. I mean, I think it's a kind of conundrum, really. It's a puzzle that probably isn't meant to get resolved. I think you just accept it and just keep your head down and work hard and try and keep your ears open. But there's definitely, I mean, I've certainly felt like, you know, God, I'm getting older, and there's people younger and better looking and better, you know, on my back, you know, overtaking me or whatever, you know, I mean, even that's all bollocks anyway. It's just in your head,
sure.
But you know, that sense of kind of, yeah, I mean. Yeah, help me out. I mean,
I think there's several songs on the record that sort of deal with that. I mean, there's a song called 1985, which is really about it's the year we were born, and to me that song was sort of grappling with the question of like, my parents weren't much older than me, you know, when they decided to have a kid, and that song is kind of, I guess I was asking the question, like, what would I feel like? I was kind of putting myself in their shoes and sort of, you know, it's almost like taking a stock check and sort of saying, well, here I am, you know, an adult, whatever that means. You know, I'm sort of, I think your brain stops developing at 25, right? It becomes fully developed. So here we are, we're grown-ups, and I think just asking those questions, like, and Saturnine and The End Up are both those. I think those two songs deal with that as well.
Because in between albums, and you mentioned that it was somewhat of a scary time. Was there a real chance then, with what you just mentioned, that the band wouldn't continue?
I think there were certain factors, certain forces that were kind of putting pressure on us, that were sort of. That were making life quite difficult, and we needed to really sort of rally ourselves and get together and kind of focus and work hard to sort of keep it alive and keep it fresh and keep it going. And I think really this is where Jack Flanagan, our bass player, kind of jumped into the picture and just pumped the whole thing, inflated it again with enthusiasm and vitality and energy and youth, actually, because he's a bit younger than us, and that was really the missing ingredient, that Jack. So yeah, there was a sort of a period of uncertainty, if you like.